We got the old PNG tuber up and running, I think. I mean, I think we're doing all right with it. It looks pretty good. I don't super care for how little or how often it may or may not blink, but I think that otherwise it looks pretty good for what it is. We got the right category this time. We didn't accidentally leave our stream on the Final Fantasy category, which, you know, is a boon for when you're not streaming Final Fantasy. And as an added little bonus, EventDB actually updated earlier than before, so that's pretty sick. I expected them to take a couple days at least to get the event site updated, but I assume that, you know, as long as the event list stays the same format, and it did stay the same format as last year, then all the dude really had to do was drop the correct Excel file in, and then that was really it. But now that he's got the good site up instead of the regular default Gen Con event viewer site, which I have gone on record saying I'm not a huge fan of. So now that that's up, we can look at events a little bit easier, and maybe we try to find some good backup events, just in case. Well, I say just in case, but it's pretty inevitable that whenever we actually go to submit in 2 weeks, we're not going to get the tickets that we want, because that's just how it goes. Unless, you know, we're able to click right on time at 12 and get like first in line or within the first few hundred, then we can pretty much expect to get all of our tickets, but that's not likely. Last year, I tried to game the system, and you know, I just enabled the submit button before the server was actually taking submissions, and it put me in timeout for 5 minutes, so I missed out on a shit ton of tickets. But that's kind of how it goes. Yeah, just here's my first tip and trick: make sure you don't submit before noon Eastern time. And I mean, honestly, even if you do submit noon Eastern time, if the event server if the event server doesn't think it's noon and your computer thinks it's noon, which, like, you know, computer times can get out of sync relatively easily, especially on websites, due to how the time is actually kept on those websites. It's entirely possible that you will click the button when it says click, and the server will think that it's still before noon, and it'll still put you in bad boy jail, which, you know, it's done. I've seen people talk about it before, and if that happens to you, it's just very unfortunate. So really, I wouldn't recommend clicking the submit button until 12:01, or maybe whenever event registration day comes, maybe refresh your browser page 10 seconds before noon. That way the times will be in sync and you can click as soon as it becomes available. That's like my real actual first tip. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna drag this window off to a hidden special secret place. That way I can look at my Google Calendar that I made for this. And I want you to see in my actual Google Calendar. You'll see how boring my life is. There we go. Wonder if there's like a way to do a custom view on a Google Calendar, so like it'll only show me the 4 days. How to create a custom view? How many days or weeks you see at a glance? How to set a custom view? There's a bunch of tutorials.
The first step is to open Google Calendar.
Wow, this is an AI-generated
Click Settings
tutorial.
at the top right side.
Shut up. Okay. Yeah, sure. Settings. Set custom view. Alright. Interesting. That's it. You're done. I don't believe that for a fucking second, but sure. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah. What if I do start on Monday? Say custom view 4 days. I have a feeling that's not gonna work like they say it's going to work. Show week numbers. Show completed task. I don't care about any of that. Week 4 days. Yeah, man. It shows me like. It'll show me Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of the following week. Then it'll show me Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's such an odd way to display it. Okay, this might be what we have to do, and that's fine, I think. So let's put this guy over here, and we'll put this guy here. Come on, I hate Windows. I wanted it the other way around. There we go. That'll do it. That'll do it. Drovengard, hey, how's it going? You don't gotta stick around if you don't want to, boss. I know you're gonna get bored with it. That's okay. Makes me feel better though. So let's see. Make this as small as I possibly can. Yeah, there we go. It's a little bit more real estate for the events. Okay, so we have some events that are already wish listed for me. The Obajima board game, the SETI board game, the Daggerheart event. I believe this one was Shadow Dark. This one was the oh my goodness, the Octung Cthulhu. This was Mothership. This is in the title. It's Chill Touch. It's the live show with Ross Bryant and a bunch of other guys from the Upstart Citizens Brigade and a bunch of other places. Then we've got Friday Night Firefight, which I think was the Cyberpunk Red game that I think is weird that it's only an hour long. And then there was Mycelia. The other Mycelia, we have a board game called Mycelia, but this is a different one. So that's on there as well. But if you've been to Gen Con, you know that you never, or very rarely at least, get all of the tickets for the events that you want. It's just, you know, you're playing a losing game if you're expecting to get all of them. So instead, it's good to have backups. It's good to have backup events, you know, so you're not incredibly disappointed whenever you don't get the ones that you want. So we're gonna look for some of those today, and see what we can find, because there's a ton of stuff to do at Gen Con. There's, you know, 21,229 events loaded into the old schedule there. So it's a lot to go through. There's something for everybody, and we have 2 weeks to put together a wish list, and that doesn't include, you know, making changes after the fact. So I'm going to step off for like 1 second, and then I will be right back. right, we are back. Had to go get a cold, crisp, refreshing, healthy Dr. Pepper. Diet Dr. Pepper. That's why it's healthy. Hatch one. Sup? Sup? How's it going? How you momming them? All right. So we're gonna look for some backup events. Actually, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go through these events that I've already gone to, and we're going to re-add them to the calendar with the with this guy's tool because it's a lot cleaner than the one that I made. And frankly, I don't feel like putting more work into it. I put way more work into it already than I probably should have. So we're just gonna use that guy's tool instead. It's a lot easier. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go to board games. So we're gonna go to Obajima. We're gonna find that. We're gonna find our 11 to 12 game on Thursday. Thursday 11 to 12. There we go. We're gonna add that to the old calendar, and we're going to. It does put the right time zone and everything, and we're gonna put that in the. We're gonna make these a different color so that we don't get confused. Save it, and look at that. And then we can delete this one. Sweet. So we're going to do that with all of these first, and then we're going to go through and look for some new events. Board game. We got SETI. That's Thursday from 6 to 8. Sorry, it took 6 to 7. It's, well, hang on now. Certainly, I meant to say 6 to 7. That's what I meant. Right? No, I'm sorry. I had to learn to play, which is from 6 to 8. See, the issue with that is that I already have an event starting at 8 that night, and you don't want to run from one event to another, especially if they're far away and from each other in the convention center. So we're going to change that 6 to 8. So instead, Thursday, learn to play. We're going to do 4 to 6. We're going to put that on the old calendar. Again, we're making these red. Sweet. Oh my goodness, I'm a big silly guy. That's the wrong day. Thursday, 4 to 6. This is the one I wanted. And we're going to go to red. And it should pop up right here. And we delete this one. And then that one was Daggerheart. Once we... IDK, I like running. You don't want to run here, big dog. It's a big sea of nerds. You don't want to swim through that big sea of nerds. It's just not what you want. No one wants that out of life. Sablewood Messengers. Thursday from 8 to midnight. It's a pretty long one. Make that red. Submit. I like this version a little bit more because it also gives you the event ID and the title. Sanctum of the Elephant God. It's Friday from 11 to 1. Hello? I'm doing it again. I'm clicking the wrong things. There we go. There we go. Got it. Foxhole is the Octung game, I think. Yeah, Friday from 2 to 6. That one is one that one of my friends essentially wants us to grab the entire table. It's going to be rough to do unless one of us manages to become like the first in line or something. Right. Never Trust an Android was the Mothership game, I want to say. Let's just do this. That should find us what we want. Friday, 9 to 1. Yep. Once again, I've deleted the wrong one. Or rather, added the wrong one. It's so hard keeping track of these. Google. Then Chill Touch. That's on Saturday from 2 to 3. I can't believe these are only an hour long. Friday Night Firefights was a cyberpunk game. And that is Sunday from 10 to 11. Again, it seems odd to me that these cyberpunk games are only an hour long. And that makes no sense to me. I don't understand why that, how you play an entire game in an hour like that. Apparently, okay, I see what it is. So this is like a battle, not battle royale, but like just waves of enemies. I might be less interested in this event now that I know that. I'm gonna delete this one from the old from the list. See if we can let's go ahead and see if we can find a better cyberpunk game. Cyberpunk is gonna be under role-playing games. Cyberpunk. Not right. Even these, a lot of these are still only like an hour long. This one's 4 hours long, but I'm already doing something that time. I feel like it's to learn a game like that, especially since I've never played it before. I need to at least play it for a couple hours. Especially if the goal is to play it again or like learn the game so you can play it afterwards. This is a 4-hour game. This is a 4-hour game. These are both 4-hour games, but they're all during times where I already have something going on. These are the concessions you have to make. I'm just gonna go to karaoke night. I think it's an actual karaoke night. It's not. Regina Jones just called you with a job. Some gonk corpo has lost a data shard at a bar. You need to find it, return it. Simple, right? Choom. Oh my goodness. That's a little bit more fun, I think. So that's a 10 to 2 on Friday. I don't have that kind of time, unfortunately. Especially not with my game starting there, and I'd have to cancel both of these and move them. I don't want to do that. What's the other one? Sunday 10 to 2. Well, if I can find another mycelia session, that would work. This also only, let's see, so Sunday, I want to say the exhibit hall is going to close at 4. I think that's the rule. Let's find that out real quick. I know it closes early on Sunday. Yeah, 10 to 4. And I need a good amount of time to walk through there. But if I get everything done, you know, the day before, that's not a big deal. Let's do this one. Let's do Sunday 10 to 2. And I'll add that to the calendar. Again, tomato red. And let's see if we can find another mycelia. Because, you know, you want some time to look at the stuff in the exhibit hall. Like, just looking at Friday, playing from 11 to 1 and then 2 to 6, that's already cutting it. That's 1 hour in the morning to look at the exhibit hall, maybe. Just because it only opens from, you know, from 10. I did read that right? Yeah. 10 to 6, according to this Google AI overview that I don't trust. I just, you know, I don't want the exhibitors have to work longer hours than they already do because they work for so long and they work so hard and they make everything a good time. But I do wish it was open longer. I just realized that it's not feasible to do that realistically. That would be a lot. So Thursday, I'm not gonna have any time. Friday, I'm not gonna have any time. Saturday, looks like I'm gonna have 3-ish hours. I might need to rethink some of this. I want time to go through there. Well, I mean, I'll have roughly 4 hours here. But it takes a long time to go through the exhibit hall. There's just so much to look at. Anyway, let's look at, because I really want to play Cyberpunk. So let's go back to board games and see if we can find anything else for mycelia. And I'm going to be honest with you, if we don't find mycelia, I'm down to not play it. Mycelia. Only 4. Oof. Oof. Anything we got here that we can bump around? Not really. I'm willing to bump it. Let's bump it for now. That'll give us some time to do stuff. Okay. So let's start looking for some backup events. There's not like a great way to do this because I want to play everything, and that's just not feasible in our current climate because I'm poor. My boy, my friend Dan has gone and added a shit ton of stuff to his. Sorry, that's not Dan. That's someone else has added a shit ton of stuff to his wish list, and I'm looking at it, and wouldn't you know it, we got no crossovers because that's just how it goes. But that's okay. Not everyone needs to play the same time. That's okay. But I'm looking at Kurt's. Sorry, I just name dropped him. I'm looking at his event list, and there's actually a Daggerheart game that's from 3 to 7 instead of from 8 to midnight. Not gonna lie to you, that's a little bit better for me. Well, that's jumping into a higher level of play. It's less for me. Let's see if we can find another dagger heart, maybe. Moving dagger heart doesn't really help me because it's already an 8 p.m. event. But we want to make sure we do, like, you know, a game and not some stuff. I could move some stuff to Friday evening and not go to the Glass Cannon Cthulhu game, which I'm fine with. I'd rather play games. I've gone on note saying this a lot. Let's see. What could I do? I could bump. What's Foxhole is Octon? There's not a ton of those. Yeah, there's not a ton of those games. This is a 2 to 6 on Friday. I could do a 7 to 11 on Friday. That would for sure knock me out of the Gen Con Call of Cthulhu Live by Glass Cannon. But it would open up some time for the exhibit hall. My wife might hate me, but I think I'd rather do this one. And this one has to do with like necromancy and such, and I think that's cool. Let's put this on the backups. I'm gonna make the backups lavender. That way we can try to squeeze in some exhibit hall time, because it's going to take a lot of time to get through all of that stuff. Yeah, I'd like to play in that alternate Daggerheart game. It's just I've never played it before. I don't really know how it works. I suppose like if I was to take some time and run through the starter adventure, I'd be okay to do that. But I can't say the same for like everyone that I'm going with and who's going to be interested in what and all that good shit. But we persist. So I'm gonna put that on the back burner. That was interesting. And if we did that, that would give us plenty of time this day to go through the exhibit hall, 5 whole hours. And it would save me a little bit of money too, because that Glass Cannon ticket's probably going to be like $30. Octong's fun, and it's a 6-person table, I believe. So we got that. We got a cool Cthulhu. We got a cool Cyberpunk. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of Chill Touch. I'm not that interested. Saturday at... I need to look at that. So... we're going to the Critical Role show in Fishers. But I don't know like when doors are going to open versus when the event is going to start. I don't really know how early I need to be there. I might ask the Beacon Bits. They probably have an answer for me. Trying to incorporate. Oh my goodness, I can't spell. If anyone's gone to the other live shows this year, when the doors open for the non-fan experience folks, and when did the show start? Trying to incorporate that into my Gen Con schedule. Someone will answer me. I know this to be true. Because they're kind and gentle folk. They'll answer me within a few minutes, assuming they have an answer. But yeah, I don't. I know that this is like a 30-minute drive from the convention center, so I'm factoring that in. It says that it starts at 7, but does it actually? Maybe the Fisher's event site has information for us. Critical Role live. Okay, here we go. Nope, no. Nothing there. No before you go. Not a thing. Nothing. I could check if Ticketmaster has anything. Don't know if I'm signed into my Ticketmaster account. I'd rather not be. Because of streaming on the internet. More info. Yeah, it doesn't have any other information on that. Rip. It's okay. Someone's typing in the Discord, so hopefully I'll get an answer pretty soon. Let's see. Let me turn around and look at my shelf and look at some games I haven't gotten the chance to play yet and see if any of them strike my interest. Oh, how could I forget? How could I forget? I want to play some Starfinder 2nd Edition. How could I forget that? PQRS. Starfinder. It's going to be plenty of 1st edition stuff, but I am not interested, quite frankly. Let's see. So Saturday I got 9 to 1, but then anytime after that, I'm good. Could play on Sunday because we're staying for all of Sunday. I don't know when the last events are on Sunday. This one says it goes till 2. This one says 2:30. This one says 2:30, 2:30, 2:30, 2. Yeah, let's just assume 2. It's gonna be the standard time for that. So we're looking at Sunday. We already staying 10 to 2. I don't need a demo. This is only 2.5 hours. First thing in the morning on a Thursday. And then 30 minutes to get to the Obojima board game sneak preview. I could do it. I could make that happen. Gotta convince my wife to get up early, but just Starfinder societies. I don't really know how that works, to be honest with you. Don't need a demo. Well, I guess let's just pick one that seems interesting. I could play this one that goes from Thursday at 8 to Friday at 1. Good lord. $5 seems like it might be a bit too much for my wife, and she wants to play this game, so we're going to not do that one. I don't really know how Starfighter Society works. I've never interacted with their organized play system outside of Gen Con, and I didn't really pay attention to it there. Do I need to play like 1-0 to play 1-2? Is that like a thing? Let me click on one. First and second level characters. The new adventure. Where can I slot this in? This is 2.5 hours. Pretty easy. Where can I put this guy? Saturday, I don't have a lot going on. What was this game? That was Mothership. Maybe I can bump Mothership somewhere. They don't have like an open Saturday to put stuff in. Mothership is also very long. Are there any shorter ones? No, they all look like they're 4 hours long. I have a problem with that. Why are they so much cheaper? Oh, that's why. I remember why. Never mind. It's because it's that one guy's hack of the game. I also, maybe just bump this one. Don't know which one I'd rather play more. Mothership or, whatever game I was just looking at. Starfinder. I'd probably rather play Starfinder, to be honest. Love Starfinder. Gym admission doors are at 5:30 for a show start at 7 p.m. Okay. Well, I need to factor that into my schedule. Rather than be like really proactive and just make this an event on the calendar, do you think it's possible to fucking like go from Ticketmaster to iCal or some shit? Oh my goodness. I bet what I could do is go through here. Go to Ticketmaster. Oh, check this out. I can totally do it. So let's do this, take it and make it a different calendar, maybe? That's how that works. No, can't do that. Well, I should probably just be less lazy about it and just make the damn event myself. Yeah, whatever. Create event. Before a live event, that's on Saturday, August 3rd. 5:30 to, I don't know, 12 midnight. Let's just call it that. Yeah, that was Saturday. Put that on the Gen Con one. We're gonna make this a different color since I want to keep track of things that are and are not there. That's a little bit more helpful. The real problem is that means that I need to get to Fisher's, you know, at this time. And it's a 30-minute drive from the convention center to Fisher's. And I'm not going to have my vehicle because we're driving it with someone else. So I'm going to have to figure out how that works. We'll figure that out, when we get to it. Also, I was planning on cosplaying. So either I wear it all day and die, or, we figure that out as well. That's a lot. It's a lot to figure out. We'll figure it out. We'll make it work. I do not want to wear my fucking Caleb Widowgast cosplay all day, though. Like, that sounds like absolute hell. There's nothing I would rather not do than that. Especially in my, shitty cosplay boots. Oh my god. I mean, I guess I could, get some boot covers and just wear my docks. But that's a lot still. Especially, the fucking Indiana sun. Holy hell. I don't know why I always pick cosplays that are some guy with long hair and a jacket. Just never conducive to a warm environment. Make it make sense. Alright, well. We make do with what we can. Almost certainly this is going to get disrupted anyway. Let's see if we can find something that's not so long here. So I can move that SETI game to anywhere. I can move it to Sunday. Let's do that. Let's do SETI Sunday. I want to do a learn to play. They're a little bit longer. Jesus. Maybe Friday morning? Nope, that won't work either. They are not doing the learn to plays that early. Yeah, they're not really doing anything that early, to be honest. You can do a 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., but that's going to interfere with this. You can do Saturday. I could do SETI 1 to, or maybe 1:30 to 3:30. Do 2 Friday, Saturday. No, Friday. Saturday. Oh my goodness, I'm losing my mind. I could do 2 to 4 probably. Had this guy. Let me them. Lavender, I think. Yeah. That'll work. Stuff to consider. Karaoke is such a weird word. This is interesting. Friday. If I was willing to move my Shadow Dark, I could put karaoke night on Friday morning. I'm not married to playing Shadow Dark there. And I could play this on like Sunday or something. Yeah, whatever. A gauntlet, that's not for me. A possibility. Exploring a crypt, your group finds themselves trapped deep underground as a labyrinth, but something strange. The walls and floors are made of gold, but painted in both old and new blood. Interesting. I could be convinced. This on the old potential list as well. But I can get a... Let's see. I can get this pretty much anytime. It's only an hour. Let's see, what do we say we go till 6 o'clock? And we'll take it from there. Let's see, let's turn around and look at the shelf again. You know, I don't think I actually ever found a Starfinder game. I think I got distracted trying to move stuff around. Role-playing games. Do Starfinder again. And then do Starfinder 2nd edition. Put a Starfinder on there just to be safe. Got some good stuff on here. And you know, we're rolling with it. We're seeing what we're doing. We're seeing what we're up to. Holy, my fave vibe coder? Yeah, that's me. That's me for real. This ain't even the website I coded, big dog. This is someone else's that did a way better job. But true, I do code based on vibes alone. We don't do any of that critical thinking here. Just whatever feels right. We're probably gonna get some changes here in a few minutes, because like I said, it updates every 6 hours, and apparently this one's processed at 11:50. So maybe we'll get an update here soon. I don't know. Let's see. Let's stick around. We'll stick around for the update, certainly. This is still the 2024 food truck schedule. And it's going to be pretty similar to, honestly, last year's, probably. All right, it's 5:50. Do we get an update? Not yet, but we'll stick around. In the meantime, let's research. Let's do Indiana Convention Center, Fisher's Event Center. Now, do not make me log in. Don't make me do that. I will. I'll log in. But I don't want to. Holy smokes. Look at that. That's a drive for sure. 40 doll hairs? Are we kidding? Are we kidding right now? About to take the damn bus. But look, I can bring my pet for only like $4 more. What if I, how far out can I go? Oh, just close enough. Yeah, I'm not a robot. Not that you can prove. If I schedule it right now, it's only 30. That's actually a great deal, and I might consider doing that. That actually might be the way to go about it. I'll look into that later. We get an update. Nothing. Might be back on the different schedule. Well, let me check my code site and see if I can do that. See when my last update was. 12:03, but nothing new. So we'll wait the 10 minutes, see if it updates. In the meantime, let's look at some of this other stuff. Let's look at something I would never look at. That's something on here I would never normally look at. Film Fest. Huh. What we got? Film Festival Award Ceremony, horror comedy short film block, horror short film block, some dumb thing about Magic the Gathering. All of this is pretty bad. I don't. It's not bad. I just don't care. The Titmouse animation, I assume is gonna be a panel about like the Critical Role show. If I had to guess, I'm a little upset that like my little PNG tuber guy has much better teeth than I'll ever have. It's kind of upsetting, but you know that's whatever. He's still blinking. Oh yeah, he still blinks. Chris Pernosky, I'm guessing. Multiple Emmy winning owner of Titmouse, the animation studio behind the Venture Brothers, Beavis and Butthead, Big Mouth, Metalocalypse, Star Trek, Scavenger's Reign, and The Legend of Vox Machina, hosts a conversation with his collaborators and the world of cartoons and gaming on how RPGs build the skills to make animated shows. Guests include Andy Suriano, the character artist from Samurai Jack. That's crazy. Co-creator and EP of Rise of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and creator of the Lost Company book and miniature collection. Joss Knapp, the co-creator of the upcoming Titmouse tabletop show Draw Your Weapons, and RPG author, and other guests from the animation community. I don't know nothing about that, but I do know that that's a pretty rad company. I like most of these shows. I don't know if you can tell which one I don't like so much. I like most of these shows. Someone told me something crazy. So my the code that I wrote only shows you the long description of the event because I just kind of assumed incorrectly that any or host worth their salt was going to put all the information in the long description or important information in the long description in the short description. One would assume, but no such luck. Looks like we did get an update, by the way. 13 events were added and 21 events were removed. It's very normal. It happens. But back to it. He said that the Darrington Press demo for Daggerheart, like their live show, when I was looking at, I want to play this game too. I'm gonna have to get one of those. Anyway, their live show, when I looked at it, I thought it was just like the people who like are actually making the game. I don't know who is like for real in charge. I assume Matt Mercer is in charge, but when I read the long description, read the long description. Join us to discover what's next for Daggerheart. We'll have a look at upcoming partnerships, a live game demo that dives into the rich worlds awaiting you, special guests joining our table, and a giveaway, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't mention who is going to be there. It just says you have the chance to meet the team. Well, if you look at the fucking short description, it says join one of Critical Role's founders, Matthew Mercer, for an exclusive showcase of Daggerheart, the newly released tabletop role-playing game from Darrington Press. Well, that is a lot fucking different. That's a lot different from, you know, just having the rest of the design team on there. So that's kind of fucking crazy. That's like the Critical Role live show at home, like for the folks that weren't able to get tickets to the actual one. They could go to this one and still see Matt Mercer run a game, I assume. That's $10, and they're having it in like one of the biggest ballrooms at the convention, so that's pretty sweet. I think the 500 room might actually be the biggest room in terms of capacity. The only way to get a bigger one would be to have like a stage on the field. So I didn't realize that because, like I said, the code that I wrote to look through the event list doesn't show the short description. I can modify it, and I will modify it now to make sure that I don't miss critical information. But yeah, I just thought that was wild that they did that way. Let's see what they changed. Let's see the changes. This guy does it right. He logs them individually. So they added a dance. Oh my goodness. They added a Candela Obscura game. I wonder if that's hosted by Darrington. It's not, but that's okay. It's only the second Candela Obscura game that I've seen on the event list so far. So that's kind of crazy. Circle of Wires and Whispers. I don't know anything about Candela Obscura. I've always kind of considered it the Call of Cthulhu at home. But there are people who really like it, so I'm probably wrong. Stadium Meeting Room 8. I will say that the meeting rooms in the stadium is part of the Lucas Oil Stadium. If I'm thinking about them correctly, they're one of my favorite places to play games at Gen Con. Let me see if I'm right. Let's pull up a Lucas Oil Stadium map. Actually, isn't there a map section here? Yeah, there we go. Don't know if these maps are still accurate. So this is a stadium. There's halls. There's the lower level. We're on the basement floor, so we need to go up a couple probably. So the West Club Lounge is where most of the D&D is going to be played. It's where all the Baldman games are going to be run. Baldman being like the people who run the quote-unquote official D&D games at Gen Con. I don't see the meeting rooms on here yet. That's a good sign, believe it or not. Oh, I skipped right to 3. Let's go back to 2. Don't see any labels here either. It's like the lower suites, I think. The club upper level. It can't be at the top. I've got to be losing it. Yeah, I guess that's not where it is. I might be thinking of the lower suites. Like, maybe this doesn't show those rooms on the, maybe it doesn't show those rooms on here. No, because here they are. All these lower suites, they're like the suites that people who pay a lot of money to go to these like the football games and sit in the fancy glass rooms and watch the game that way. They use all of those rooms to play games in. And it's one of my favorite places to play these games because, like, straight up, you can just go in there. It's like you and your table, and that's it. You get away from all the noise of the convention, and it's just you in there hanging out. It's one of my favorite places. It doesn't appear that that's what's going on here because I didn't see meeting rooms anywhere on there. but I could be wrong, and the map could be wrong as well. Let's look at the Lucas Oil Stadium maps, because they might be able to help us out a little. Wow, not helpful at all, actually. They're very small maps. How are you supposed to see that, man? Yeah, I just don't see the meeting rooms on here anywhere. That is what it is. They'll find it eventually, but yeah, that's pretty rad. There's 90 tickets available, so you'd assume that there's plenty of space. Stadium meeting room 8. It's impossible to tell where that is, but that's cool. That's cool that they add one. What else did they add? The dance, the costume contest. The opening ceremony has been added. I don't really care to go on there, to be honest with you. It's just the same shit. Some people think of it as like a tradition that they always go to the opening ceremonies, but it's not my jam. They deleted all of these Mechs versus Minions learn to plays. That's interesting. I wonder if if that company is backing out or something. Group Incredible Dream. A lot of things are happening this year because of no, they have a ton of stuff still, and they have a ton of learn to plays still. There have been a couple companies that have had to like publicly say, "Hey, we're not coming to Gen Con this year," because if you don't know or unaware, board games are almost entirely manufactured in China, and if you can't get reasonable prices on those, for, through some political policies or whatever, we're not going to get into that. It becomes a lot harder to start importing those games, especially when you're having to mark your prices up. So a bunch of publishers are like, we can't really afford to go to Gen Con this year, so we're pulling out. It hasn't been like a mass exodus like some people have reported in the circles, but it's a thing that's probably going to be noticeable. This isn't a political stream. We don't do that. We don't do that here. Oh, they added the cosplay parade as well. Let's see. You don't actually have to have a ticket to go to the cosplay parade. Like, it's in there, but you don't have to do it. What day is it? It's on Saturday from 3 to 4. If I was going to wear my Caleb cosplay, that would be the time to do it. The problem is, like, that's a lot. It's a lot to do. I mean, I guess I could, like, pack it up and put it in the truck or something. And then when I'm done in between a game or something, I could go back to the truck and throw it on. But just walking around in that would be fucking miserable. Maybe, though. Maybe. Okay. What's something else I would never think to click on? LARP. It's just not for me. I know a lot of people like it. It's just not for me. That's okay. Like, I don't even know what I'd be looking at here. Cthulhu? Dreams of Doom? Yeah, this, 6 children and it. I wonder what that's about. It's not what I thought it was. It's not what I thought it was. That's probably a good thing. Yeah, that's not for me, but that's fine. Doesn't have to be. Oh man. Well, we're almost there. We're almost there. If you haven't gotten a Gen Con ticket yet, a Gen Con badge yet, and you were thinking about it, it's a good time to do it because they are going to sell out. It's going to happen just like last year, just like the year before. They're going to sell out of 4-day badges, and you don't want to be someone who shows up having already bought for your hotel and paid for your travel, thinking you can get a badge at the door, because you're not going to be able to. It's just not going to happen this year. So you might want to go ahead and get a badge, and the sooner's better than later, for sure. The 4-day badges will sell out first, and then single day badges will start selling out after that. They're pretty pricey. It's the most expensive convention I've ever been to, because you got to pay for the badge as well as all the event tickets. It's not all included in your badge, so you got to think about that as well. No one ever said Gen Con was a cheap convention to attend. But that's it for me. I really appreciate y'all hanging out with me for as long as you did and hear me ramble about Gen Con events. No one else is so interested, but I appreciate it. I'll probably do this weekly, just to go over some of the changes. So we can get an idea of how we're changing my schedule and all that good stuff. It's cool to see. You know what? Before we take off, let me see if I can find the exhibitor list. So I'm pretty sure someone was able to find the new vendor list. I don't think they're supposed to be, or maybe it's like not published yet. Oh, someone else published their list. Oh my goodness! Actually, that seems very interesting. They posted an event that seems very interesting to me. Another star-studded live play on Thursday. This one has Ginny D, Pointy Hat, Dungeon Dad, Swole Initiative, and guests. I like 2 of these people a lot. I know of one of these guys, and I like the Dungeon Dudes enough. But I don't think either of those games are going to fit in with my schedule, really. Let's see, Thursday, 3 to 5:30. Yeah, probably not. Unless we move SETI and that's the Wednesday, and then I could probably do it. But that's kind of cutting off my vendor hall time I had planned there. We'll see. Back to the task at hand. I found, or someone found and posted this, the exhibitors list. Here we go. So they took it down. That's good. We can play with this. Yeah, they took it down. That's good. They should have done that. It was the right call. That was the right call. Anyway. Now we're actually going to end the stream. For real this times. Y'all take it easy. And I'll see you next time.